America's high-stakes tech war with China has taken a dramatic turn. U.S. sanctions imposed under the Biden administration to curb China's AI development appear to have unexpectedly backfired, sparking a surge in Chinese innovation. While the U.S. is aiming to reclaim its manufacturing dominance, China is innovating its way around the restrictions, producing homegrown AI chips, some at least temporarily superior and all cheaper. But the United States won't have it. They're hitting back where it counts, with President Trump determined to unleash a mountain of tariffs against China to exploit the country's strength in exports and turn it into a critical weakness. However, now Tesla, a symbol of U.S. innovation and a manufacturing behemoth, finds itself caught in the crossfire and is now being used as a bargaining chip as China does everything in its power to throw a wrench into America's plans to balance trade and rejuvenate its manufacturing base. Before we continue, stop using Yahoo Finance, stop using Google Finance, and visit my newly redesigned website, themarketisopen.com, for instant stock quotes and quarterly financial data going back up to 17 years, and it's all freely available. The world is on edge now that the trade war between China and the United States is once again heating up. Back in 2018, Trump-era tariffs were initiated and largely maintained by the Biden administration, targeting over $300 billion worth of Chinese goods, with rates ranging from 7.5% to 25%. These covered a wide array of products, including industrial machinery, consumer electronics, and apparel, but the Biden team refined and escalated them in areas in 2024 to try and protect U.S. industries. Tariffs on Chinese electric vehicles quadrupled from 25% to 100%. This effectively locked out cheap Chinese EVs, like those from BYD, from being imported into the U.S. market. Semiconductor tariffs doubled to 50% by 2025, targeting chips and related materials like silicon wafers. Solar cell tariffs rose to 50%, and lithium-ion EV batteries went from 7.5% to 25%. Certain steel and aluminum products also saw a 25% increase. These tariffs aim to protect emerging U.S. industries like clean energy and counter China's state-subsidized overcapacity, which the administration argued threatened American workers and firms. Certain industries were also sanctioned, specifically semiconductors, where companies like Nvidia were banned from selling certain chips into China. Yet this bold gambit may have misfired, as evidenced by the meteoric rise of China's DeepSeek AI, which claims to have engineered a leading AI model at a fraction of the cost of its Western rivals, a stunning feat that left the US tech giants scrambling to catch up. Although now we have seen new US-based models such as the most recent Grok 3 from Elon Musk's xAI, trained on massive NVIDIA GPU clusters, make a comeback and top the benchmarks. But while DeepSeek's innovations spotlight gaps in American ingenuity, a closer look reveals that their breakthroughs still likely relied on training with large NVIDIA GPU clusters, suggesting that the US restrictions are indeed stunting China's AI ambitions, at least in the short term. However, China is still undeterred, and it's racing to bring chip making in-house, an anti-fragile move poised to slash reliance on US suppliers like NVIDIA and allow them to thrive under pressure by pivoting to self-sufficiency. Ironically, this mirrors the US's own tariff-driven push to insource manufacturing and counter its dependence on Taiwan's semiconductor dominance, setting the stage for both world powers vying to turn sanctions and tariffs into opportunity. Interestingly, in Trump's current second term, he wasted no time reigniting the trade war upon taking office in January 2025. This not only builds on his first-term tariffs, but in a sense it turns China's strength in exporting into a weakness. The US's largest trade deficit in 2024 was with China to the tune of almost $300 billion, meaning China exported that much more to the US than the US to China. China is therefore highly reliant on the US for trade to bolster its economy, and the new tariffs aim to expose this. On February 4, 2025, Trump imposed a 10% tariff on all Chinese imports, roughly $450 billion annually, effective immediately. And Trump aims to go off the rails, potentially increasing this to 60% in an attempt to bring China to the negotiating table with regards to trade and drug enforcement. China retaliated with tariffs on $20 billion of U.S. imports, including a 10% duty on U.S. light trucks and also on chemicals. Not particularly crazy, especially compared to 2018, when China slapped 25% tariffs on U.S. autos and covering $50 billion in goods at the time. While China is more restrained this time round, it's still being very strategic. Companies like Ford, GM, and even Mercedes, which ships cars from the US to China, are being hit primarily on their vehicles with large engines, greater than 2.5-liter engines, as China, the world's largest electric vehicle producer, is quietly destroying legacy automotive companies and their core fossil fuel cash cow businesses. When the smoke eventually clears and the tariffs are lifted, this gas car industry may be completely gone and replaced by China's bread and butter, which is EVs. U.S. manufacturers shipped over $3 billion in large engines to China last year. The writing is already on the wall, as the once globally dominant General Motors took a $5 billion charge from its struggling China business last year. China wants to become the dominant supplier of autos to the world and collapse these companies, which conversely haven't been innovating, haven't pushed hard enough into EVs, and have been resting on their laurels for years. That said, Elon Musk's long-term strategy for Tesla of having a manufacturing plant on every continent is paying off. Their Gigafactory Shanghai is the most productive plant that they own and has helped the United States stay on the playing field within China. Tesla also bypasses much of the tariff war because of their domestic plants, which reduce the need for importing, although there are still a number of parts made in China that go into US vehicles. This tariff war is another stark reminder to continue bringing more components in-house. Tesla is both smart and lucky that they decided to get into the lithium refining business in 2023, a bold move since few consumer-facing businesses also have mining operations on the side. Their new US refinery is expected to begin ramping up this year, and there are other companies bringing online more lithium capacity to the United States. This should help mitigate the effects of the US's own tariffs on China, as China controls the majority of global lithium refinement. Along the same lines, China's EV supply chain is rock solid, as they also produce and process most of the world's rare earth metals, which are required in EVs, specifically the motors. This is a large threat to the US, with China's 70% dominance in production and 85% dominance in processing of rare earths. But the United States has a few tricks up its own sleeves. Interestingly, Tesla's new vehicle, the Cybercab, which is expected to begin volume production next year, as they're currently working on bringing up the production lines of this new vehicle platform, which Elon Musk expects to produce up to 5 million vehicles per year, the most of any Tesla vehicle, is said to use a new motor, according to Tesla, which uses 0 rare earth metals. The motor apparently has the same or better performance than Tesla's current permanent magnet motors. If Tesla pulls this off, then ultimately the vast majority of their vehicles won't use critical rare earths, which will be a huge shock to the market. There may even be an oversupply of rare earths, lowering prices, if the trajectory gets deflected with most new electric vehicles not needing them. And if it makes financial sense, Tesla may also be able to put this motor into its other vehicles beyond the Cybercab, like Model Y, which is the top-selling car in the world. But Tesla has run into a few other problems in China, and these may be getting worse. As revealed on their most recent conference call, China won't allow Tesla to take its video footage data of millions of miles of driving outside of China. At the same time, Tesla's training computers, their data centers, are located in the US, and the United States won't allow Tesla to train inside of China. So the company has this dilemma where they're stuck between a rock and a hard place, trying to get full self-driving working in China, which would be a huge market and very lucrative for a software-type product, since that's where most Teslas are sold in the largest car market in the world. And so Elon Musk divulged Tesla's plan to train FSD using publicly available footage of Chinese roads within the United States. This is a little strange for a number of reasons. One being that Tesla's data using millions of miles of drives is very valuable for FSD. Using a limited data set appears to be to the detriment of Chinese car owners. Or perhaps the solution is only temporary. Secondly, some people are allowed to release video footage outside of China, and so this restriction seems very weak on China's part in that anyone can accidentally leak video footage that the US companies can use to train on. It's bound to happen eventually, especially as individuals with Teslas could post their own driving videos. Nonetheless, the real issue now appears to be that China is said to be delaying Tesla's approval for FSD in China, which some say is a bargaining chip in the trade war with Trump. If true, this could prove a reckless gamble. Poking at one of America's industrial crown jewels risks igniting a firestorm from the president known for his unpredictability. China's playbook has long flouted conventional trade norms, leveraging subsidies and market barriers to tilt the scales, but targeting Tesla might backfire spectacularly. With Trump cast as a loose cannon, he could easily retaliate by tightening the screws on Chinese firms operating in the US. Think Huawei 2.0, with companies like BYD or Baidu facing crippling restrictions or outright bans. China has yet to unleash a chaotic escalation, where rulebooks are torched and both sides scramble to weaponize their economic arsenals. But so far, it looks like these moves from either country are designed to bring each other closer to the negotiating table. The narrative of American manufacturing's inevitable decline has been powerfully challenged by Tesla's success. While cost differentials and regulatory hurdles have long favored overseas production, the rise of modernized, automated factories, if only there was a company working on humanoid robots, could dramatically reshape the global playing field. Elon Musk knows this and is leveraging his influence to dismantle regulatory roadblocks through initiatives like Doge, paving the way for a resurgence of American manufacturing. While tariffs and the current trade friction with China, including the challenges faced by Tesla, may present short-term obstacles, they also serve as a catalyst for change. These pressures are incentivizing companies to localize production and rebuild domestic supply chains, ultimately reducing reliance on foreign actors. If the United States plays its cards right, the manufacturing spigot, once seemingly rusted shut, could soon be flowing freely once again, ushering in a new era of American industrial might. So how do you see Elon Musk navigating this trade war between the US and China? And do you think Tesla's new Cybercab vehicle platform could eliminate the need for rare earth metals and disrupt China's stronghold on the EV supply chain? Don't forget to watch my last video on Elon Musk exposing Elizabeth Warren's corruption. Visit our new website, themarketisopen.com. Please hit the like button and subscribe. We would really appreciate that. And a huge shout out to all of our patrons that help to support our channel. Your support helps us to continue to make great content. Thank you guys so much for watching.